everyone, welcome to day 21 of the no salt added diet with exercise. So I am making a recipe today. Oh, first of all, 102/70. So that's what my blood pressure was. I took it with my sweater already on. I don't know if that makes it go a little bit higher or not. I'm not actually 100% sure, but it seems a little bit higher than it has been recently, but that's okay. So I've had several recipes now that I've wanted to make and haven't really been able to make because I need bouillon of some sort, and that's kind of frustrating. And I don't really like a lot of the salt substitutes for that. So I found on all recipes it's called gluten-free and vegan broth powder, and basically it's just spices that you put together and use that in place of some broth. My husband's still sick, in case you wanted to know. That's what that was. Anyways, so I'm putting this together, and basically what you do is you put it in a container and you blend it up really well so that it's just all interspersed together. But so what this is only half of a batch. I didn't want to make a whole batch because, wow, that seems like a lot. What if it's not all that awesome, you know? So anyways, let's see. Yes. So the first ingredient is nutritional yeast, and so this is actually the nooch that we normally buy. It is fortified. Dr. Furman says not to use fortified, but we do, and that's just the way that goes. So for a half a bat recipe, you want to do 1 1/4 cup. So there's 1 1/4 cup in there. There's 1 1/2 tablespoon of parsley flakes. There is, how much did I put in here? 1? Yeah. 1 teaspoon of chopped onion. It said onion flakes. And then 1 tablespoon of garlic. It said powder. This is pretty close to powder. It's granules, and it's going to be blended up, so it doesn't really matter. And then 1 teaspoon of celery seeds and 1 teaspoon of dill. So that is what is in this container. I'm going to go and blend this really, really well. And then I want to make a recipe called, what I'm making and what the recipe is called are 2 totally different things. It's called Mexican rice soup with mushrooms. I'm actually making Mexican congee with mushrooms. So I would recommend, if you're gonna make this recipe, to use mushrooms, like use for real little button mushrooms, chop them up and saute them and all that good stuff, which I would have done, but my mushrooms were kind of funky. They just get that way so fast. So anyways, I chopped up some Enoki mushrooms. So I've got 2 packages of Enoki mushrooms and then about half of an onion that I've chopped up as well. So this recipe actually calls for rice and water. You mix it really well, and then you cook the rice, and then you have a bunch of extra water, and then you put in some spices and some stuff and all that kind of stuff. I'm not actually doing it exactly in that order because what I really want to do with it is not exactly what the recipe calls for, but I'm going off of the recipe in terms of this was the idea of the recipe. I'm just doing it a little bit differently. So I'm going to take the mushrooms and the onions and saute them in a little bit of wine. So I'm going to do that on the stove first, and once those are cooked and ready to go, which shouldn't take too terribly long, I'm going to put in as much rice as I want to. So I'm not actually measuring that part out. You don't really need to measure it out when you do this. So when you make congee, which is basically what I'm doing. So I'm putting the rice into the pot, and then basically you add water, not maybe to the level of the rice, but you add a cup or 2 of water at a time until it gets really, and you let it cook. And if it's needs a little bit more water to make it really creamy, you just add a little bit more water. It's kind of a guessing game. It's not really, look up how to make congee online from like somebody who actually knows what they're doing sometime if you really want to make congee. Simply, it's not hard. It's just probably better to follow some very specific instructions the first time that you do it. But to make this recipe, like this, what it says that they want you to add jalapeno peppers, which obviously I'm not going to do that because that would be scary. I do have this container of fire roasted diced green chilies open in the refrigerator still. I'm going to again use 1 tablespoon of this, which will then have 60 milligrams of sodium. So there'll be 60 milligrams of sodium in the entire dish, so I'm not super worried about that amount of salt in it. I wish that they didn't have any salt in it, but it does. So anyway, you put that in there, some garlic, and then you're supposed to use 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon granules. So that's what I'm going to use with this. So 2 tablespoons of this. I'm going to make that into congee and see how it tastes. So I'm going to go work on getting that ready, and I will be back with you guys in a little bit for a taste test. Alrighty guys, so I kind of felt bad after I got done vlogging just a second ago because I was like, yeah, just go figure it out. Find a congee video that you guys can watch how to do this with. So I'm going to put an attachment in the description box below for the link to the video that I originally watched when I was watching, provided that Mommy Tang still has her channel up. I assume that she does, even though she doesn't put any new videos out. She hasn't in over a year. Well, I stopped watching, so I would assume that she still hasn't, but she hadn't in like a year. So anyways, I'll go back and I'll look at one of her really old videos. This is how I learned how to make congee. So anyways, this smells really, really good. Yeah, see, isn't that pretty? So let's give this a shot. I haven't tried it yet, so it'll be a surprise for both of us. So let's give this a shot. It's very, very good. It's very creamy still, which is what you're looking for with congee. It's good. Bless you. It's definitely still missing just a teeny tiny little bit of salt for sure. So this recipe is not bad at all. I would definitely recommend, if you're looking for something, bless you, mild, that you go ahead and give this a try. But it is very, very mild. Maybe I needed to put a little bit more of this powder on it. Let's try that. Let's just sprinkle a tiny little bit on it and see what it does. Like it's a topping rather than to cook with. Let's see if that makes it any better. It definitely adds a significant amount of flavor to it. Yeah, so that's actually not bad. When I have made congee in the past, I've used the Better Than Bouillon No Chicken base, which has 650 milligrams or 625, something like that, milligrams of sodium per teaspoon. So it has a ton in it. But it's just, gosh, it's just wonderful. Anyway, I'm gonna take that with me for supper tonight. When we were at Trader Joe's, I found this looks like a definite treat. So it's dates, hazelnuts, and cacao powder. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this because cacao powder can be very, very bitter, but dates are like super, super, super sweet. So anyway, I'm gonna take one of these with me. There's no sodium in here, and I'm going to take some rice with me. And I can see if you guys like things a little bit spicy. Definitely put some more of I only put 1 tablespoon of the green chilies in here. If you like things spicy or hot, you'll want to put some more spices on there to spice it up a little bit. But otherwise, this is perfectly fine for me to eat. It's got just a little bit of flavor to it, but if you guys make this, I would say put in some, maybe even some chili powder and some cumin to make it more Mexican flavored congee, because it's not really super, super Mexican-y flavored. But anyways, this is good. So I'm gonna go make my supper, and I will talk to you guys again, yeah, in the morning. All right, guys, good morning. So last night was a failed experiment with food for sure. So before I left for work, I had the last piece of the cornbread, and it was okay. It was not bad. Again, I put some maple syrup on it, so it tasted better to me. And then when I got to work, a little while later, I had some of the rice. I didn't finish it. I ate probably about 2/3 of it, and I was just it really wasn't all that awesome. So that was kind of a failed experiment. Not really super excited about that. Have some for leftovers. I'm probably gonna eat some for breakfast this morning, but not really super excited about it. I took a small little rectangle container that was all that was left of the corn pudding, and I ate that, and it was superb. That was super tasty. And I wanted to tell you guys the little snacky thing that I took with me that I got from Trader Joe's. And again, date paste, hazelnut, and cacao powder. That's all that's in it. It tasted just like a really incredibly sweet brownie. It was really good, like in really tiny little bites. Like a big bite, I just broke off a piece to eat at first, and it was just way too sweet and too big of a bite. But little bites, eating it after that, it was really good. So I liked that. That was yummy. But that's it for me for today. I'm gonna have to make something like super delicious and awesome tonight, because my breakfast isn't gonna be very exciting either, because I'm just gonna eat some leftover of the rice stuff. I can't justify throwing that much of it that I have left away, but it really wasn't super awesome. So there you go. Don't make that recipe. Anyways, so that's it for me for now. I will talk to you guys again tonight. Yeah, tonight. So have a good one. I'll talk to you later.